Hi guys, it's Cassandra and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in 2018. My goal was to read 50 books, but I managed to read 51, and personally it was not a good reading year for me, but I'm just happy I read at all. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I don't know how much memory I have. I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit of my thoughts and my ratings for each one. But first up we have Between the Blade and the Heart by Amanda Hawking. This is book 1 in the Valkyrie duology. I loved the world. It was everything I was expecting from this book and more. I definitely recommend this book if you love Norse mythology because I fell in love with it, and a particular character with horns. Oh my god, wish I could get a book solely on him because I fell in love with him at first sight. I miss him so much. Next up we have Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Of course I give this a bajillion stars. I'm obsessed with everything that she writes. And then there's Rain the Earth by A.Z. Goggin. I think that's how you say her name. This book blew my mind and I'm still so scared to pick up the sequel even though I have it. It is somewhere right here, I think. Yeah, it's the second one right here and I am so scared. I'm not ready. But this is a world I completely fell in love with from the very first page and I can't wait to dive back in. And then we have The Billionaires, The Bosses by Callista Fox. It is the second book in this trilogy, I believe it is. Really liked it. I think I liked it more than the first one and I can't wait to dive into the next one. It was a group of 3 women as they find love in a way that is not the norm. So if you don't mind explicit scenes, I definitely recommend this one. And then we have Sun Warrior by PC Cast. This is the sequel to Moon Chosen. I loved every page in here. I am obsessed with this world. Love the fact that the characters have animal companions, which is not something you really see in fantasy, but it's a big part of this series and I love it. And then we have How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mathers. It was very bland for me, but that is not what happened with the sequel, which leads me to Haunting the Deep by Adriana Mathers. Oh my god, I still can't get it out of my head. It made me appreciate certain things that I never thought I would. I really enjoyed meeting the new characters that are introduced in this novel. I can't sing it enough praise. We have another sequel and that is Bruja Born by Zoraida Cordova. This is book 2 in the Brooklyn Bruja series. I'm obsessed with this cover, but I'm also obsessed with these sisters. Each book follows a different sister. Bruja is Spanish for witch, so it does deal with witches. I love the Hispanic representation in this one because as a Hispanic, I don't see much of that in fantasy. This book blew my mind away. And with the sequels, we have Derailed by Casey Shea. It's the sequel to Detour, I believe, but you can't read them as standalones. It just follows a band of guys called the Three Ugly Guys, which is so funny because there's 4 guys in the band. I love Casey's writing. If you guys want to meet the funniest, good-looking men as they fall in love, definitely give these a try. Next up is a book I don't physically own yet, but that is Lake and Manning, which is novel number 4 in the Something in the Way series. This series means so much to me. My heart is still super sore from all the emotions that Jessica Hawkins threw my way. In my opinion, it was her best series yet, and I hope to one day go back to it because Lake and Manning are amazing. I don't think I've ever rooted for 2 characters so hard before in my life. And then we have People Like Us by Dana Mele. This is said to be a mix of 13 Reasons Why and Pretty Little Liars, so if you're into that, definitely give this one a try. And then we have Waterfall Effect by KK Allen. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This is more of a suspenseful romance, so if you like those, definitely read that one. And then we have Spindlefire by Lexa Hillier. It wasn't one of my favorites this year, but it is a Sleeping Beauty retelling and I loved the way that she went with it. So we have Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer, and I am obsessed with this book and these characters. I cherish it so much. I can't believe such a beautiful book exists. It follows Juliet, who writes letters to her mother who has sadly passed away, and she leaves them on her grave, but one day she gets a response and it just begins this whole chain of events with a certain someone as they're both going through difficult times. And following with those characters, we have More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer. This follows another person from Letters to the Lost, but I love this one even more, and that is saying a lot because I'm obsessed with that first book. I can't get over how beautiful and amazing these books are. They both deal with mental health, and it was done so beautifully. It still brings me to tears to this day. And then we have Instructions for a Secondhand Heart by Tamsin Murray. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that the main character gets a heart transplant, and it happens to be the other character's brother. Follows them as they find out about each other. We have Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. Of course, I gave this like 10 out of 5 stars. This is Chaos novel, and I really enjoyed it. Kale is not my favorite person in the entire world. It took me till this book to actually like it. That says a lot. This book did a lot. I loved the plot and meeting all these characters. It was phenomenal. And then we have What He Doesn't Know by Candy Steiner. This is one of the best romance novels I have ever read. It is a love triangle. And then we had Fate to Us by Julia Day. I enjoyed it for the most part, but there were some things that I did not like. It took me a long time to actually connect with the characters. We have No Filter by Orlog Collins. This follows a main character who basically had a perfect life on social media, but not so much in real life. Then I read What He Always Knew by Candy Steiner. This is the sequel to What He Doesn't Know, and I really love this book, and I can't wait for the next one because I need more. I need more. And I read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Oh my god, this is not my usual genre whatsoever. I did listen to this on audiobook. This was amazing. Definitely one of the best books I have ever read. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I can't even look at these books without crying. I need to stop. The book I have is Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. This was pretty awesome. Follows quite a few different point of views, and I loved them all. My goodness, I couldn't choose one whatsoever. We have in the back The Given for the Sea, The Prince for the Kingdom, The Indiri for the Earth, The Lethos for His People. This world was fantastic. This was magical. These books hold a gigantic piece of me. I'm still not over this. Next book I read was Given to the Earth by Mindy McGinnis. This is a book that is making me cry. It wasn't given to the sea, it was given to the earth. It is a duology, so this was the last book in that world, and this book by itself is one of like my top reads of my entire life. I'm so attached to this world, to these characters. I want so many more people reading this and talking about this. This book is my life. The next read, Back by Katana Collins. This is book 1 in the Silhouette Studios, and it does follow a BDSM plot. But I loved this book so much. I love Katana. I am anxiously awaiting the next book. I can't even handle it. These characters are so perfect. I loved the romance. I loved every single thing about this book. Next up, the lowest rated book I read this year, and that was Whispers of My Skin by Susanna Mohel. I gave it a 1 star only because I couldn't give it any less than that. From the very first page, let's just say the plot was very rough and the dialogue was rough. Everything was rough. Did not go down well. But moving on, we have Winter Glass by Alexa Hillier. This is a sequel to Spindlefire, and this is a duology, so that is the last book in that duology. Love the way that Alexa retold Aurora's story. It was amazing to read. Then we have From the Earth to the Shadows by Amanda Hawking. This is the last book in the Valkyrie duology. Got to see my favorite character again, but there were some things that I didn't like. For example, the resolution left a lot to be desired for me. And then we have Hexen's Cross by J. Wallace. I loved your name. It's the first book in this series, and it follows witches. And then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. I did not like it as much as her other books. It did eventually make me cry at those parts, but there was a lot I did not like. It made me not like Feyre as much, and it hurts so bad because Feyre was my favorite character in this entire series, well, except for Lucian. Next up, I read Furyborn, and this is one of my most favorite books of all time. This is by Claire Legrand. I can't wait for King's Bane because I'm obsessed with it. The only thing I have a problem with this is the beginning. the fact that it's spoiled so much. I don't like that, but it's not going to keep me from reading the rest of the series. And then I read 8th Grave After Dark by Dorinda Jones. It is the 8th book in this series. There are 13 books and the 13th one is coming out soon. I love this. I loved the crew. I love them all. I love these characters. Dorinda Jones is the funniest author I've ever read. We have The Dirt on 9th Grave by Dorinda Jones. Each book keeps getting better and better. I just love these characters. Anything they do, anything they say. And then we have one of my favorite books of all time. This was a very good year for favorite books of all time for me, but that is The House by Christina Lauren. I loved how unique this book was. Read this book because not anybody else who has, and I really want to talk about it with someone. Loved these characters. I love the house because it is a character in this book and I'm so amazed. Then we have Monstrous by Marjorie Loop in Sana Takeda. This is a graphic novel. Love this art style. I love the world. It's so gory. It's so amazing. There's a hot guy I'm so excited to see in the next volume. And then we have Folded Notes from High School by Matt Boren. I had a lot of problems with it. The main one being I did not like the main character. This entire book is told in notes. They all center around one person. And this person I disliked with a passion. I read Incognito by Siobhan Davis, one of my lowest rated reads this year, and I did not like it. And then we have Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I love a Casey West novel, can't get over that. It's definitely one of my favorites from hers. This follows a girl who becomes a podcast host as she finds romance. Next up, I read All Summer Long by Hope Larson. This is a comic close to best friends as they spend their first summer away from each other. I didn't enjoy it. Next up, we have The Caro Hunt by Darcy Coates. This follows Remy, who is a tour guide for the infamous Caro House, and he's basically approached by someone asking her if she wanted to be a part of a paranormal investigation at the Caro House. Kind of predictable. And next up, I read Scream All Night by Derek Millman. Really enjoyed it. I love that cover, the bats, everything, the house, the castle. It was definitely a premise that I've never read before. It follows Dario, whose father is a director for horror films. I really enjoyed seeing the behind the scenes of horror films and the sets. And then we have The Raging Ones by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is a sci-fi novel. I don't like sci-fi, but I really love this one. I'm getting another one because this is part of the series and I can't wait. This is about a world where everybody knows when they're gonna die, and it follows 3 teenagers who break the norm. Then I read Magical Girl Apocalypse by Kentaro Sato. This is such a beautiful cover. I've been wanting to get into manga, and this was the perfect way to go because horror is my favorite genre in anime and manga. I was definitely excited to pick this up and I really liked it. It's definitely 18 plus manga. Red Center of Gravity by KK Allen. This is a dancer romance and I loved it so much. I have like a big fat grin on my face because I've been obsessed with dancing videos on Instagram for so long, and I finally got to read a dancing romance. So whenever they were dancing, I was basically picturing the videos that I watch on Instagram. KK Allen can do no wrong. It follows Lex, who falls for a certain choreographer, and I loved watching them together. We have hit the last stretch of books and they're all tabbed. First book that I ever tabbed was Kingdom of Ash by Sergio Mas. Guys, I'm not gonna cry, but look at all those tabs. Look at all those tabs. I don't even know what to say about it. It was hard. I'm still not over it. The first half was pretty dull, as you can see. But then look at the second half. If you guys want a video of me explaining how I tab, I definitely will do one. Next up, I read The Crow Prince by Holly Black. I was definitely so done with waiting for this book because I kept seeing fan art for Jude and Cardan. I kept getting irritated because I felt like I knew them already, even though I hadn't read The Crow Prince yet. But I read it and I liked it. I don't ship them as much as everybody is doing because why would you? Anyway, I'm not into that, but I am excited to see what happens because Jude is a badass. Next up, I read Magical Girl Apocalypse Volume 2. I liked it less than the first one, but I did really enjoy it the last few pages. Oh my god, the last few pages. I need the 3rd volume now. It did take quite a turn, that I could have done without that. Next up, I read The Dark Beneath the Ice by Emelinda. I did tab it quite a lot, especially yellow. This follows a girl who is being followed by something that is making things around her shatter. There were some things about this one that confused me at the end. Didn't really like the resolution either. We have The Girl King by Mimi Yu. Oh my god, look at all those tabs. I loved this one. It follows two sisters. I enjoyed their journeys. Actually followed a third point of view, and of course his was my favorite point of view because I loved his storyline. Next, I read Sadie by Courtney Summers. I really loved it. I think we all know what this is about because everybody is talking about this book, but it follows Sadie after her sister is found dead. Dual point of view. So one of the point of views follows a host for a podcast that is following her story, and of course the other point of view is Sadie's. But this was super triggering for me. Can I say I enjoyed it, even was traumatized by it? Definitely opened my eyes. For the last book of 2018 was Hinder by Casey Shea. This is book 3 in the Off Track Records world. It's not really a series because they're all standalones that you can read by themselves. I'm gonna say series for the sake of this video. And it follows a certain drummer and a girl named Opal. They catch feeling, really like the romance. It was so adorable. It was kind of weird sometimes because these are teenagers. I quickly got over that because I was too busy waiting for the next romantic moment. But that is it for all the books that I read in 2018. I tried to make this as fast as I could. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you are planning to read any of these. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to film my end of the year book haul. Let me know how many books you read in 2018 and how many books you plan to read in 2019. I will see you next time. Bye!